There is a kind of silence that feels peaceful, and there is another kind of silence that feels like a room you do not want to enter. You know the difference. Peaceful silence is the morning before the world asks anything from you. It is coffee near a window. It is a walk without headphones. It is sitting in a car for 1 extra minute before going inside. But the other silence feels different. It arrives when the phone is finally down, when the show is over, when no one is texting, when the room gets quiet enough for your own life to speak. That is the silence many of us run from. Not because we are weak, because when silence gets close, it starts asking questions we spend the day avoiding. Are you happy? Are you lonely? Are you becoming someone you respect? Are you living or just staying distracted enough not to notice that you are not? Most people are not afraid of being alone in a practical sense. They can eat alone, drive alone, sleep alone, work alone. What they fear is being alone without escape. No music, no scrolling, no person to perform for, no one needing them, no screen lighting up their face, no drama to organize their feelings around, just the self. And that can be terrifying, because many of us have spent years learning how to be valuable to other people, but almost no time learning how to sit honestly with ourselves. We know how to answer messages. We know how to be useful. We know how to look okay. We know how to be funny in public and collapse in private. But when the noise stops, something inside us may feel unfamiliar. That is why loneliness can feel like danger. Imagine someone coming home after a normal day. Nothing dramatic happened. They went to work. They smiled when they needed to smile. They answered emails. They picked up food. They opened the door to their apartment, dropped their keys on the table, and suddenly the silence was waiting. Not an empty silence, a full silence. The kind that seems to say, now that no one is watching, who are you? So they reach for the phone. Not because they need the phone, because the phone is easier than the question. They scroll through videos they will not remember. They check messages from people they do not truly miss. They open old conversations, not because they want to return, but because even painful familiarity feels better than the unknown room inside themselves. This is one of the strange things about loneliness. Sometimes it does not drive us toward love. It drives us toward escape. We text someone we know is not good for us. We go back to an old relationship that made us smaller. We accept crumbs of attention and call it connection. We confuse being wanted for being known, and then we wonder why we feel alone even when someone is beside us. Maybe because loneliness was never only about the absence of people. Sometimes loneliness is the absence of a relationship with yourself. You can be surrounded and still abandoned. You can be loved and still unknown. You can be in a crowded room and still feel like there is a private part of you that no one has reached, because you have not reached it either. That does not mean love is useless. Love matters. Friendship matters. A kind person sitting beside you can soften the night. A good conversation can keep someone alive for another day. Someone saying, "I'm here," can become shelter in a storm. But no one can live your life from inside your body. No one can feel your fear exactly as you feel it. No one can carry your memories in the same shape. No one can enter the room inside you where your old wounds, old hopes, and old griefs are still waiting. This is not an insult to love. It is a limit of love. And accepting that limit can actually make love healthier. Because when we do not accept it, we start asking too much from other people. We do not ask for companionship. We ask for rescue. We do not ask someone to walk beside us. We ask them to become our home, our therapist, our parent, our proof, our future, and our entire reason to keep going. At first, that can feel romantic. Someone texts back quickly. Someone notices small things. Someone wants to see you. Someone makes the world feel less sharp. And for a while, it feels like the loneliness has been cured. But then real life returns. They get tired. They misunderstand you. They fail to notice the pain you never explained. They disappoint you in ordinary human ways. And suddenly, the loneliness comes back. So you think the relationship failed. Maybe it did. Sometimes loneliness is a warning that you are being neglected, dismissed, or emotionally starved. Some relationships really do make people feel alone because there is no tenderness, no listening, no safety, no care. But there is another kind of loneliness that appears even in good relationships. The loneliness of being a separate soul. The loneliness that remains after the dinner, after the laughter, after the hug, after the person you love falls asleep beside you. The loneliness that says, even with love, you still have to meet yourself. That is the part we often resist. We want intimacy to mean there is no distance, no mystery, no private sadness, no inner room. But real intimacy may not be two people becoming one person. Maybe real intimacy is two separate people standing close enough to tell the truth without pretending they can erase each other's separateness. This is why learning to be alone is not cold. It is not selfish. It is not a rejection of love. It is preparation for healthier love. Because if you cannot sit with your own loneliness, you may turn every relationship into an emergency room. You may demand that another person fix wounds they did not create. You may cling when you need to listen. You may control when you need courage. You may stay too long in a relationship that hurts because being alone feels like death. And the saddest part is this: the more desperate you become to escape loneliness, the more likely you are to abandon yourself. You laugh at things that hurt you. You stay available to people who never really choose you. You silence your needs because conflict might make them leave. You become smaller and call it love. But loneliness can become a doorway if you stop treating it only as an enemy. It asks difficult questions. Who are you when no one is watching? What do you want when you are not trying to be chosen? What do you believe when no one approves? What truth appears when the audience is gone? Most of us fear solitude because solitude removes the performance. Without the audience, we may discover that we have been living as a character. The reliable one, the funny one, the strong one, the attractive one, the useful one, the one who never needs too much, the one who keeps peace by disappearing. But who are you underneath all that? That question can hurt, but it can also return you to yourself. Maybe the goal is not to become someone who never feels lonely. Maybe the goal is to become someone who can feel lonely without immediately betraying themselves. Someone who can sit in a quiet room without running back to what wounded them. Someone who can love deeply without asking another person to become their entire world. Someone who can say, I need people, but I must also have a self. Because there is no wisdom in pretending we need no one. Human beings need connection. We need touch, friendship, family, community, laughter, shared meals, and people who remember our name. But there is also no freedom in needing someone so badly that we disappear. The silence you keep running from may not be trying to punish you. It may be trying to introduce you to the parts of yourself you keep outsourcing to others. the part that wants to be heard, the part that wants to create, the part that is tired of performing, the part that does not want to be rescued anymore, only respected. Maybe tonight, when the noise gets quiet, do not run immediately. Do not force yourself into some dramatic healing moment. Just stay for one honest minute. Ask yourself, what am I afraid I will hear if I stop distracting myself? That may be where the real conversation begins. Not with another person, with yourself. And maybe that is not loneliness destroying you. Maybe that is solitude beginning to tell the truth. Please put in the comments. What silence do you keep running from?